Hello and happy Sunday to everyone. This is Mama D and I'm back. And I was trying to figure out what I was going to make for dinner tonight. So what it's going to be is meatloaf. Now, I don't know about you, but I have always been hit or miss with my meatloaf. I would put all these things in it and it was never really consistent, although it was always good. And my mom and my sister-in-law really always made really good meatloaf. And I asked them one day, how do you make your meatloaf? Yada, yada, yada. What's your secret? And this is what they shared with me. Now, for those that, want to do everything from scratch, you don't want to use anything packaged, I totally get it. But this is really a game changer, this McCormick meatloaf mix. And that's what I've been using hands down for the last couple of years. So this is what it is. I have 2 pounds of ground beef, and I typically purchase the 80-20, 80% lean, 20% fat, and they have other consistencies as well, like 90-10. It's entirely up to you. I just do ground beef. If you want, you can use ground turkey. You can add, ground pork or Italian sausage. If you use Italian sausage, you are going to change the flavor profile a little bit because typically Italian sausages are already seasoned. So, but it's entirely up to you. So I have my 2 pounds of ground beef right here, and so I can get back a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to add, and I just follow the directions on the back. Easy breezy, lemon squeezy. I have 1/4 cup of dry breadcrumbs. Now I do like to use the Italian dry breadcrumbs for my meat dishes that I need breadcrumbs, or any dish that I need breadcrumbs from. I really love the Italian seasoned dry breadcrumbs, or you can make your own. And the only thing that I do different that is not on the packet here on the directions is I love to add some green onions. So I'm going to add, I have 3 stalks of green onions. I'm also going to add 2 slightly beaten eggs. It's going to go right in there as well. And then the milk. I've never heard of putting milk. And this is, I think this is 1/4 cup. Let me look and see. I already measured earlier. No, this is a 1/2 cup of milk. So I'm going to add that. I'm going to mix it all together. And then I'm going to place it in this dish. And I have some olive oil on the bottom. The recipe doesn't call for it, but when you're making a meat dish, I always like to put a little olive oil or butter on the bottom of my pan. I don't know why I do it, but I do. So I have some olive oil, just a little bit, maybe a 1/2 teaspoon or whatever, depending upon how large your pan is. And this is just a Pyrex, and I think I shared with you I got this at a thrift store for like $1.50, brand spanking new. And then I'm just using some extra virgin olive oil, whatever brand you want, just on the bottom, or you can use some butter. And of course, the star of the show is this meatloaf, McCormick spices, herbs and spices, right? So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to mix this all together. I'm going to place it in my pan and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back and I am mixing this up, and I'm wearing my gloves, getting this all, and I'm just squishing it all together. I like to use my hands, but if you use your hands, please wear gloves. That's, the safest way so that you can keep everything nice and clean. And you don't have to worry about trying to, when you wash your hands, get all the meat and the oils off of your hands. It can be cumbersome. So anyway, I'm going to mix this all together. This is what it is here. And I just continually mix. No rhyme or reason. It's kind of fun too. Kind of fun. So I'm just going to mix this all together. Now, with your meatloaves, you typically have 2 types that I have seen. Now, tell me which type you like to make. Do you like to make meatloaf that has a brown gravy, or do you like to have a meatloaf that has a tomato-based topping or gravy with it? I've done both. Before I started using the McCormick spices, I would make my meatloaf and I would put, onions and this and that thing and garlic and bell pepper, and then I would top it with some tomato paste. And I'll make a version of that meatloaf as well. But with this, I love it with the brown gravy. So that's what we're going to do here. Alrighty. So I'm going to clean up a little bit, get this in my pan, and I will be right back. Okay, and I'm back. I've got my meatloaf in my pan, and what I'm doing now, I'm just taking a spoon or a knife, whatever you want to use, and I'm just kind of forming it. This pan is a little bigger than I anticipated, but it's still going to work just perfectly. Now, some people, when they do their meatloaf, they like to use a loaf pan. I've got some loaf pans, but I typically like to use something like this just to have some room for all the juices to flow, and just so when I have the juices, sometimes I'll take it and baste it, or pour the juices on the meatloaf as it's cooking. And it's really ready to go into the oven. I've got my oven preheated at 375. We're going to put it in for an hour. And per the directions, every oven is different, so you're going to have to test it to see the doneness at about, I would start checking about 50 minutes and take it from there, but it's typically about an hour. So I'm going to place this in my oven and we'll be back. Okay, I'm back a little sooner, even before I put it in the oven. But anyway, it's getting ready to go into the oven at 375, like I mentioned, for an hour. And I'll catch you on the other side. Happy eating. Alrighty, and I'm back. So my meatloaf is in the oven. I just want to come back really quickly and just really emphasize how important it is to practice safe sanitation in your kitchen. Wash your hands before, during, and after. And if you're going to chop up vegetables to go into any of your meat dishes or any of your dishes, please use a separate chopping board for your vegetables, a separate chopping board for your fruits, and a separate chopping board for your meats. You do not want to cross-contaminate. Super important. Talk to you later.